There is no French business visa. Here's what you actually need to know. If you've been researching how to move to France, you've probably searched for something like French business visa. It's one of the questions I'm asked more than almost any other. People contact me saying, I'm self-employed. Which business visa do I need? Or, I'm starting a business in France. Which business visa should I apply for? It seems like a perfectly sensible question. But here's the interesting thing. France doesn't actually have a visa simply called a business visa. And understanding that one point can save you a huge amount of confusion. Because if you start with the wrong question, it's very easy to spend hours reading websites, Facebook groups and Reddit discussions that don't actually apply to you. So today I'd like to explain how France really looks at visa applications, why so many people become confused, and how you can make sure you're looking in the right direction from the very beginning. Part 1. Why everyone searches for a business visa. 1:30 to 5 o'clock. The reason so many people search for a business visa is actually very understandable. In many countries, immigration systems are described using simple labels: student visa, work visa, business visa, retirement visa. So naturally people expect France to work in exactly the same way. But French immigration is a little more nuanced than that. Instead of asking, "What's your job?" the authorities are much more interested in questions like, "What will you actually be doing in France? Where will your income come from? Will you be working for a French company? Will your clients be in France? Will your business be based in France?" Those questions are often much more important than your job title. That's why two people who both describe themselves as consultants may end up taking completely different visa routes. Part 2. Your circumstances matter more than your job title. Let me give you an example. Imagine two people. Both describe themselves as management consultants. On the surface they sound identical. But when we look a little deeper, the first consultant plans to move to France while continuing to work remotely for clients based entirely outside France. The second consultant wants to move to France and build a consultancy serving French businesses. Same profession, same skills, same experience. But their circumstances are very different. And that's exactly why it's so important not to choose a visa simply because somebody else with the same profession used it. France isn't looking at your LinkedIn profile. They're looking at what your life in France is actually going to look like. That's a very different question. Part 3. Why comparing yourself to other people can be dangerous. 10 o'clock to 1400 hours. This is something I see every single week. Someone will post in a Facebook group saying, "I'm a freelance designer. Which visa did everyone else use?" Within a few hours there might be 20 replies. Every one of those replies may be genuine. People are trying to help. But here's the problem. Those people aren't you. They may have different income, different nationality, different family circumstances, different plans, different clients, different long-term goals. So copying another person's visa journey can sometimes create more confusion rather than less. It's one of the reasons I always encourage people to understand their own circumstances before trying to match themselves to someone else's experience. Part 4. The biggest mistake I see. The biggest mistake isn't choosing the wrong visa. It's starting with visas at all. That might sound strange. But imagine you're planning a holiday. Would you book flights before deciding where you're going? Probably not. You decide what you want first. The same principle applies here. Instead of asking, "Which visa do I need?" try asking yourself, "What am I actually trying to achieve? Do I want to retire? Do I want to continue working remotely? Do I want to establish a business? Am I joining family? Am I studying?" Once those answers become clear, the possible immigration routes usually become much clearer too. Part 5. So where should you start? 1,800 hours to 2,200 hours. If you're just beginning your journey, I'd recommend taking a step back before downloading application forms or reading endless online discussions. Start by understanding your own situation. Write down exactly what you're hoping life in France will look like. Think about where your income comes from, whether you'll be working, whether you'll have clients, whether you're moving alone or with family, how long you intend to stay. Those answers provide the foundation for everything that follows. Only then should you begin looking at visa categories. It's a much calmer way of approaching the process, and it usually avoids a great deal of unnecessary stress. If there's one thing I'd like you to remember from today's video, it's this. Don't start by asking, which visa should I choose? Start by asking, what am I actually planning to do in France? Once you're clear about that, everything else becomes much easier to understand. I hope this has helped clear up one of the most common misunderstandings I see. If you're planning your move to France, each week I share practical guidance based on the questions people ask me most often, with the aim of helping you make informed decisions with confidence. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.